Please, whenever you stop hearing me, let me know or just type it out in the chat box. Okay, so I'll just get started. Good evening, everybody. I hope our day went well, and I hope it was stress-free. Hopefully, it was. You are here today because you want to learn to make money through writing, right? And I will just get started immediately. So, I'll be sharing with you my top 3 strategies for earning from writing in 2024, right? So the aim of this webinar is going to be as brief as possible, but the aim of this webinar is to first share my most valuable writing tips with you, and then to tell you my top 3 strategies on how to earn from your writing. But first off, let's sieve ourselves a bit. So who is this webinar for? This webinar is for you if you have a passion for writing. It is for you if you have a passion for writing, but if you don't have a passion for writing, rather, it is for you if you don't have a passion for writing, but you like to explore writing as a skill. It is for you if you just want to acquire a new skill. This webinar is for you if you already make money from writing, but want to make more money. It is also for you if you want to start making money from writing. You've never made money from writing before. You've never made money from writing in the past, but you want to start to make more money from writing, then you are in the right place. This webinar is also for you if you want to increase your earning power in 2024. And lastly, it is for you if you go anywhere there is money. Right? So I want you, first of all, to tell me in the chat box who you are amongst this category. You have a passion for writing. You don't have a passion for writing, but you like to explore writing. You want to acquire a new skill. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat box. Let me know what category you belong to in the chat box. Do you have a passion for writing? You don't have a passion for writing. You just want to make more money. Let me know in the chat box. I can't see your responses in the chat box yet. Oh, Precious. Precious says, I have a passion for writing. That's great. Etil, is this Etildo? Etildo says, good evening. What category do you belong to? Good evening, Etildo. Do you have a passion for writing? Do you have no passion for writing? Do you just want to make money from writing? Intentional Ini says, I have a passion for writing also. I'm always going where there is money. Yes, we are all always going where there is money. I'm also for the money. Oh, Mohammed Emmanuel says, I want to acquire a writing skill. That's great, 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 great. Okay, so it means that we are all in the right place. I like the fact that you always go where there is money. I always like to go where there is money too, anyway. So we are just going to get right into it because I understand that we've all had a long day and you would like to rest. I just want you to get the value as immediately as possible, get the value as soon as possible, and then we are out of this place. So a minute. Yep. First off, let us explore how to become a writer. But before we explore, Hope says, I have no passion, but I want to explore writing as a new skill. Great, great. You're welcome. You're in the right place. Before we explore how to become a writer, let's talk about who a writer is. A lot of us believe that writers are, exceptional people. Writers are different breed, a different breed of people. Writers are, people that can put a lot of words together. I like to say that we are all writers. Every single one of us, we are all writers. Provided that you can make a sentence, you can write a sentence, 1, 2 sentences, you are a writer. Provided that you can write text, We use a lot of text-based platforms these days. There is chatting on WhatsApp, there is emails, there is social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all of that. If you use any of these, you are a writer, right? Now, the difference between people that actually call themselves a writer or people that actually call themselves writers and you is that those set of people decide to take it intentionally, right? They have taken their writing skills intentionally. They are intentional about it. They're intentional about developing their writing skills. They're intentional about the words they use. They're intentional about the people that read their words and how they communicate. But you have not been intentional. That's just the difference. Like I always say, we are all content creators. The difference between people that make money from content creation and those who do not is intentionality. Sorry, you find me looking this way because my laptop is acting up. I cannot, you can't see, sorry, I can't use the video on my laptop, so I'm using my phone on my left-hand side. So you find me looking the other way. So back to what I was saying. The difference between a content creator who makes money and one who doesn't is just intentionality. That is all. So the difference between an actual writer in quotes and you is intentionality. Now, how to become a writer or how to become a better writer? The first is to have a goal. And that was why I started by asking us what category of people we belong to. I did that intentionally. I did not just do that because I wanted to spark engagement or because I wanted you to talk. No, I can continue the webinar without asking you to say anything. Or if you had not responded, it would have still been fine. But I wanted to drive your attention to this point, having a goal. In order to become a writer, you need to have a goal. Why do you want to be a writer? Or why do you want to make money from writing? No, why do you want to be a writer? Do you want to be a writer because you want to make more money? Do you want to be a writer because you want to teach other people to write? Do you want to be a writer because you want to communicate properly? Do you want to be a writer because you want to build a portfolio so that you can further your education in the future? Why do you want to be a writer? You need to know your why. There's a book with that title, Know Your Why. Know Your Why, right? Simon Sinek. Sorry, my light just went off. So you need to know your why. Why do you want to be a writer? Because knowing your why will help you stay focused. Knowing your why will help you focus when people are doing a lot of other things that are not your business, right? Knowing your why will give you a direction. You need to know your why. If it is because of money, be sincere with yourself. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with wanting money. When I started my career in this whole online marketing, content strategy, and copywriting, I started because I wanted more money. I did not have a passion for any of these things. No, I did not. It was not because I was interested in learning a new skill. No, I did not just sit down and told myself I wanted to learn a new skill. No, I just needed money. I was broke. That was the simple reason. I was broke and I needed more money. That was my reason. So as an individual, you need to be able to know your why, have a goal. Wanting to be a writer because you want to make more money is a valid reason, right? And it is going to give you a path and a direction. The next thing you want to do is to read deeply and widely. Now, this can seem like a daunting task, but it is important. If you want to become a writer or be a better writer, you have to read widely and deeply. And what does it mean to read deeply and widely? To read deeply means you take a specific topic and then you go as in-depthly as possible into that topic, right? So let's take personal development, for example. Personal development is broad. And personal development can have to do with, let's say, mindset, productivity, consistency, and all of that, right? So you pick the topic of productivity and start to read everything about productivity. How can a person be productive? What are the things that are stopping a person from being productive? That's what it means to read deeply. To pick a specific topic, a specific niche, and go as in-depthly as possible. I'll give an example using my own life or my own career. I am a content strategist and a copywriter. That's what I do for a living. What I did early this year was that I went online and I Googled top books on content marketing. And it gave me about 50 of those books. I now started to read on content marketing. So content marketing as a focus, content marketing as a topic. I started to buy any book I see on content marketing, whether it is relevant or irrelevant. I just read, because I tell people that irrelevant information is still good knowledge. I can categorically list a few books and tell you, no, don't buy this book. This book are not, they are not it. There's nothing inside the book. They are not insightful. That's because I have read them. So I buy them whether they are relevant or irrelevant. And a lot of times books may seem irrelevant at the moment, but they will definitely be relevant in the future, or they'll be relevant for someone else, right? So read deeply and widely. What it means to read widely is that you read extensively. You read a variety of topics. You read on a variety of industries. Yes, I am a content strategist, but yes, I'm a content strategist, but I read on content strategy, sales, business, mindset, productivity, consistency, personal development, psychology. I read on all those things. That's what it means to read widely, to read a variety of topics, or to read about a variety of industries. Now, to become a writer or to be a better writer, the next thing that you want to do is to write daily. When I was creating the Everyday Writer community, I was not creating it because I just wanted a community of people. Anyone here who knows me? Oh, Grace says it only me who's. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Grace, I guess it's your network, because they said they can hear me. Okay, so I'll just continue. Um, when I created the Everyday Writer community, I did not create that community because I just wanted to gather people. If you are here and you know me personally, you will know that I can be an introvert. I am always in my space. I don't like to have people calling me. It is very tasking to wake up in the morning and post prompts. It is sometimes I forget. So I have to put it at the back of my mind. Some days I work throughout the night and I just want to sleep throughout the day, and then my alarm rings for me to post on the Everyday Writer community. So it is not an easy thing to do for free. But I'm doing that because I want to be able to build other people. Because I know that a lot of other people are struggling to become writers. And since I've been able to make money from writing, I want you too to make money from writing. I want you to increase your earning power, and that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because if I don't do it, I will not eat. No, far from it. So in order to write, to be a better writer, you have to write every single day. And I'm not even exaggerating. Just the way you eat every day in order to stay healthy. Once you drink water, write. I know it may seem difficult, but it is doable. When I first heard the idea of writing every day, I was asking myself, will I be able to keep up? Will I be able to keep up? But then I started. And as I started, I felt by the way a lot of times, a lot of times I would not remember to write. But whenever I remember, I come back to it. So I started to build that part of my brain that keeps me coming back to writing. Now I write every day. Now it's like meth for me. Now it's so addictive. I write when I'm happy. I write when I'm angry. In fact, when I'm angry, I write the most. Right? So you need to write every day. Whether I post a prompt on the Everyday Writer community or not, please make it a point of duty to write every day. You will notice that on the Everyday Writer community, I don't drop my own the link to my writing every day. It doesn't mean I'm not writing. Right? I am writing every single day. I have a place on Notion where I write every day. I'm using my phone now as the video for this webinar, so I can't even show you. If not, I will have shown you. I think I will make a screenshot, a screen recording later, and I'll post it on the group. Whether I post on the Everyday Writer community or not, I still write. In fact, I write more than once every day because this is my source of livelihood. So I have to write. I have to be at the top of my game. My skills have to be top notch. And what you don't practice, you don't become an expert at. Now, let me tell you something. Let me just bust your mind a bit. I have never taken any course on copywriting, but I made my first million from copywriting. I did not even make my first million from social media management or content marketing. And that was what I started doing first. In fact, that is what I've done for the longest of time. But I made my first million from copywriting, and I've not taken any copywriting course. I've never taken any copywriting course. All I have done is I have read books, I have binge watched a few things on YouTube, and then I have read voraciously and I've practiced my writing skills. If you take 10 courses on copywriting and don't practice your writing, a person who practices every day and doesn't take any course will still be better than you. Take it or leave it. You have to practice your writing skills. Whether it is rubbish initially or not, please write. Being a expert writers or the expert writing skill doesn't fall on you. No, it doesn't fall on you. It is learned. There is no single person who started out writing and, as an expert. They all started to learn. You write, you churn out content, you take feedback, you improve on it and all of that. Write daily. Have an archive, have a journal. If you don't remember, if you know you will not remember, set an alarm. That's what I do. Now I don't need to set an alarm anyway. But when I started, I was always setting an alarm for 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. before I go to bed. I used to prefer to write around 9 p.m. because then I would have experienced the whole day. So I can take cue or take reference from everything that happened to me throughout the whole day. Write about anything. Write about your experiences. Write about your feelings. And one good thing that writing every day does to you is that it helps you stay observant. It helps you describe your feelings, your environment better. Because when you know that someone else is going to be reading your writing, you want them to understand what you have experienced, but you have to put it in the right words so that they understand it. Right? You have to put it in the right words so that they understand it. And in order to do that, it means your vocabulary has to be rich. It means that your writing has to be unambiguous. It means that your writing has to be unrepetitive. Not that you're writing "this is a boy" in the first sentence, in the second sentence, in the third sentence. But you wouldn't know these things if you don't write every day. And I'll give you one tip when you write every day. When you initially write, leave it. I posted something about that on Instagram. It's called content marination. What content marination does is that, what it means rather, is that when you create content, let's use writing as an example because writing is content. So when you write, you leave the writing and then you go about your day. And then later you come back to it and then you read it. When you read it, you see grammatical errors. You will be able to see it from a different perspective. It always comes out better when you leave it for a while, then come back to it to write, to edit. That's what I do with my writing. The things I have written in the past, I have gone back to them. Even things I have written from 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I still go back to them every day and I read them. When I read them, I'm able to rewrite it and communicate my thoughts or my feelings better. So write every day. I watched a YouTube video by Josh Kaufman, and he was talking about how to practice or how to become an expert at something. The general principle on how to become an expert on something is that you should practice it for 10,000 hours. But Josh Kaufman said that you don't need to practice it for 10,000 hours, that you need to practice it for, I think he said, 45 minutes every day. Now, when I say practice does not mean watching YouTube video. Watching videos on that skill does not count for practicing. Reading books on that skill does not count for practicing. Practicing is doing the skill, right? So for writing, for example, you want to become an expert writer. Reading books on writing does not count for practicing, even though it is something that needs to be done. Watching YouTube videos or taking courses on writing does not count for practicing. After you have done all those, you need to now sit down and write for at least 45 minutes every day. Can you beat that? But a lot of times we don't have the patience, we don't have the um the calmness of mind to sit down and write. You need to develop it. Even that calmness of mind, you need to develop it. There are days, for example, I was working on a writing project just before this webinar. That's the reason why I kept saying I want us to be done with this webinar, because I have to deliver that writing project to the client today. He has to publish it before the end of this week. And I had already promised I was going to deliver it today. Throughout today, my mind wasn't calm because, a lot of things were in my head. This webinar was in my head. I had not prepared. I just prepared my slides this afternoon. I had not put my thoughts together. The writing was in my head. It was a lot of other things were in my head. There's another client that I needed to attend to. So all those things were in my head. I wasn't calm enough to sit down and write. However, I told myself, Susan, this work has to be done. You have to sit down. And so I turned off all my notifications and then I sat down and I wrote the work to, a certain level. Once I'm done with this webinar, now I'll go back to it. So write every day. Do we understand? Is this making sense? Please let me know.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Thank
it is.
thank you. Please, if you can go on the Everyday Writer group, on the Everyday Writer community, and please remind people, tell them to join in, tell them that we have started, and tell them to join in. So, okay, I'll just continue. Another thing that you want to do is to, now, I would say pick a writing interest. This pick a writing interest has to come before publishing your writing, but you need to pick a writing interest. And when I advise people to pick a writing interest, I advise people to pick as many interests as they are passionate about. I mentioned earlier that I am passionate about personal development, becoming a better person. I'm a sucker for personal development. I'm a sucker for marketing, for content strategies. I breathe and live content. Bring any business to me and I'll tell you content ideas to put on social media. I never run out of those things. If you wake me up from my sleep, I can tell you, right? So I have picked those as an interest. I write about marketing, I write about personal development, I write about productivity, consistency. If you check my LinkedIn page, those are the things I write about. So pick a writing interest, and your writing interest can be anything. A lot of times we look down on our passions, we look down on our interest because we see another expert talking about NFT. We see another expert talking about blockchain, talking about artificial intelligence. So we think that they are smarter than us. They are not. If your interest is in dogs, please begin to write about dogs. You have no idea how much the world is waiting for your own perspective. And your own perspective is what a lot of people are going to pick as their own facts. Your own perspective is the lens that a lot of people are going to look through. But because now everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, you have run away from your love for food to your love to artificial intelligence when you don't have an interest in that. And you can write about your interest on LinkedIn too. I know that when we go on LinkedIn, it seems so professional and all of that. But imagine having an educative post about dogs on LinkedIn. I will read that because LinkedIn is so serious. And if I stumble on that, that's going to be a very interesting piece to read about. Read about, if your interest is about water, write about it, pick your interest. And you don't need to niche down your interest. You can write on as many interests as possible. Just ensure that you are consistent with that set of interests, right? Ensure that you are consistent with that set of interests. So if you're writing about psychology, write about psychology continuously. If you're writing about productivity, write about productivity continuously. Don't write about psychology today and then tomorrow you're going to write about human hair, right? Pick your interest. Now, after picking your interest, publish your writing. For the everyday writing community, I'm going to dissolve that community very soon because it is tasking and I have a lot of other things that I want to concentrate on. But before I do, I'm going to tell every single one who has ever published any writing on the everyday writing community to go on Twitter and LinkedIn and post what they have written. See, you have no idea what putting yourself out online will do for you. I think that I am an advocate for putting oneself out on social media because that is the life I have lived. And because a few people here may not know my story, I'm going to tell you my story briefly. if you know me personally, you know I always talk about putting yourself out on social media. And that is because I have harnessed the benefits of social media so much. I've harnessed social media so much. I used to work a 9 to 5. I used to work. Yes, Etildo, your hands are up. You want to say something? Etildo, do you want to say something? Etildo, do you want to say something? Okay, I'll just go ahead until I can hear what he or she has to say. So I was talking about, putting yourself out on social media. Social media is the new market. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Your hands are raised up. That's why. Social media is the new marketplace. In fact, if you don't believe that, I want you to believe it. I want you to believe it because it is coming from me. I used to work a 9 to 5. I quit my 9 to 5 in 2021 December, and I started working from home remotely. I had started my social media career. I started out as a social media manager. The first course I took was on digital marketing, and then I took another social media marketing course. And then I started to manage social media accounts for people while I was working my 9 to 5. I did that for a year and then quit. And then since 2022 January, I have been working as a freelancer, working. Hope, do you want to say something? You guys are raising up your hands. Oh. If you want to say something, please just unmute yourself and speak.
I'm sorry, it's a mistake. I'm actually on transit. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Um, I I was working my 9 to 5 and then I quit. And I am never looking back. In fact, I used to tell my friends that now when if a company wants to employ me, I'm going to call the shots. Like I'll sit down, I'll tell them, this is how much I want to be paid. And if you want me to work 9 to 5 in your organization, that's if you want me to come back to work 9 to 5 in your organization, I can only do 2 or 3 working days. If you know you don't want to take your job, because I know that I'm always going to get jobs. Once I am online on social media, dishing out value, all I need to do is to dish out value, get people to relate to my mind. I am always going to have money. You are always going to have money if you go where people are. The money you are looking for is inside people's pockets, right? And people are on social media. So why are you not putting yourself in front of them? I know you are saying that, oh, I'm not yet an expert at writing, but there's no one who is even still currently an expert. Everyone is still trying to figure out themselves. I posted an article on LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday. And I posted it on LinkedIn, I posted it on Facebook, I think I posted it on Instagram too, and Twitter. And then I just went to rest. And then after like an hour, I went back to the article to read it after I had published it, and then I saw typographical errors. But what did I do? I did not delete it. I went back and edited it and left it there. Your writing is not going to be perfect. My writing has not always been like this. My writing has not always been like this. Right? So publish your writing. Pick a platform and publish your writing. I recommend LinkedIn, Twitter, and Medium. In fact, I recommend all the social media platforms. Let me tell you what I do with my writing. Every day I sit down and I write one long form content about anything. I can write about, I got this bottle a few weeks ago. I can sit down and write one long form content about this bottle and talk about, maybe relate it to how to stay hydrated or something. I can write about 1,000 words and then publish, or 500 words. Now, when I write that long form content, what I do is I will now, from that long form content, I'll look through it, I'll read through it and see short form, just punchlines and small quotes that I can just post on Twitter. So from that long form content, I can get 10 tweets for 10 days, or for 5 days if I want to post twice a day on Twitter. And then those tweets or From that long form content, I can get short videos. I'll just look for a few points, turn them into videos for Instagram Reels and for TikTok. That's what I do with my content, right? So that's how to put yourself out in front of people. Now, another thing you want to do is to find a place to get honest critique. You can either find a community. For now, I'm not able to give detailed critiquing on the everyday writing community because it's going to be a lot of work. And the reason why I created that community was not to critique anybody's writing. It was just for you to just develop the attitude of consistency, first of all. But a lot of us here have not even been consistent with the writing on the everyday writing community. So I ask myself, why do I need to come and even critique the writing? I do that in my mentorship program, checking your writing, telling you the ambiguous things about your writing, telling you your writing style, or giving you a better writing style to use. I do that in my mentorship program, but not the everyday writing community. But what you can do is to find and join a community where they will critique your writing. On the everyday writing community, what I expect is that as we write, you check what other people have written and then post your observations about the writing. We scratch each other's backs. Imagine that we have about 55 people on that group. Imagine that 10 people are posting their articles and I have to sit down and critique everybody's writing. That's going to be a lot of work. I'll not be able to do any other thing again. So, but find a community. There are a lot of communities, even on Telegram. You can go on Telegram and search for writing communities, and then you'll see a lot of communities to join. That's number one. Another place to critique, to help you get honest critique, is social media, especially Twitter. When you write on Twitter, people's savage responses, they will tell you if what you're writing is making sense or if it is not making sense. So put it out there in the world. In fact, I always tell people that is the best way to judge your writing, because if you are writing and your writing is not getting engagement, then you know that something is missing. You know that, okay, maybe you've not been able to grab people's attention with your writing, and then you go and learn how to grab attention with your writing. You know that maybe you are not communicating your point or your message appropriately. You go and learn how to communicate your point and your message appropriately. Social media is the best place to even critique your stuff. It's the best judge of your writing, right? And lastly, you need to enroll for a writing course in order to become a writer. You would notice that I put enrolling for a writing course as the last thing. It is intentional, because a lot of us, you just tell yourself, I want to become a better writer, or I want to be a writer, and then the first thing you do is to go and take a course, and then you just stop there. Because what a course does for you most times is that it reveals another level of ignorance to you. That is what I have noticed with a lot of courses. You gain something, yes, but it is going to reveal another level of your ignorance. It's going to show you a lot of things that you don't know about that subject matter. And then so you now develop what I call, I can't remember the name, but something paralysis. I think idea paralysis or something. You just become numb because of the information that has come to you, and you are not able to take a step. That is what happened when a lot of us take courses. And that's why a lot of people have taken so many courses with no results. So it is intentional that I put enroll in a writing course last. So I'll just do a recap. Have a goal. Know the reason why you want to write. Know the reason why you want to become a better writer. Have it written somewhere. Have it posted somewhere very close to you, so that every morning you will be seeing it. When you want to give up, it will give you motivation. Read deeply and widely. When you read deeply and widely, you expose yourself to more information about the subject matter. You become versatile in a particular subject matter. You enrich your vocabulary. You see different perspectives. You will think you know so much until you read people's books. God, people are smart. A lot of people are smart. If you read Malcolm Gladwell's book, you will know that people are smart. Patrick Bet David, if you read his books, you know that people are smart. Steve Covey, you know that people are smart. You will see perspectives that you have never seen before, right? So read deeply, read widely, write every day. I'm not telling you to write every day because I just want to fill in the gap. Write every day. If you don't write every day, you cannot become a better writer. Publish your writing, pick a writing interest, find a place to get honest critique. Now, my top 3 strategies for earning from your writing. Are we ready? Let me know in the chat box if you are ready for the top 3 strategies. Let me know. I can see your reactions, but let me know. Let me know if you are ready. Else, we'll just close this meeting and everybody will go. Okay, Havilia Media says I'm ready. I want to see more responses. Are you ready? Yes, we are. Intentional Ini says yes, we are. Great. Now, my number 1 strategy, Clinton says I'm ready. Great. My number 1 strategy for earning from writing is offer writing services. Offer writing services, either as a freelancer or you work for an agency. And I have done both. I have worked as a freelancer and I've worked as an agency. Now, remember that the things I said in the previous slide, they are to help you acquire the writing skill. So we are now assuming that you have done all those things. Now you want to begin to make money from writing. You either want to offer a writing service. Now, to offer writing services, you can offer writing services as a copywriter, as a content writer, as a blog writer. You can write ebooks. Copywriting is basically writing for the sake of conversion. There's a skill to it. You have to learn it. For those who are not into the marketing space, writing for the sake of conversion means writing so that people can take an action, or people can take the action that you want them to take. So, for example, a company can tell you, we want you to write about this product. This is a glass case. We want you to write about this product. And after you finish writing about this product, we want people to join our WhatsApp group. So whatsoever it is that you write for them needs to get the people who are going to be reading it to take action by clicking to join their WhatsApp group. If people do not join the WhatsApp group, then you have not done your job. That is what it means to be a copywriter. They can say, we want people to subscribe to our email list. So if people do not join their email list, you have not done your job. They can say, we want your writing to give us more followers. If they don't get more followers from your writing, then you have not done your job. There's a skill to copywriting. It has to be learned, right? There are a lot of things that are entailed in copywriting. There's understanding the target audience, there's understanding of the product, there's being able to clarify the message appropriately, there's being able to help the people take an action. All those things are skills. So what you now need to do is to go and do your research about copywriting, about being a copywriter, about copywriting, and then offer copywriting services. Now, let's say you start to you've learned about copywriting. On social media, you can now begin to post content about copywriting. There are a lot of things about copywriting. Like I just mentioned earlier, there's understanding of the target audience, there's understanding of the product. You now begin to craft copy, you begin to craft ideas, things that you are learning along the way, and then begin to post on Twitter. So companies who want a copywriter, they'll be able to reach out to you, or when you even apply for a job, they can see a track record of what you have done in the past. Content writing is basically writing for the purpose of education. So these are blog writing to falls under content writing. Just writing to educate people. For example, how to get a US visa. That's content writing, education, to educate people on how to get a US visa. Right? So there is writing of ebooks. Ebooks are digital products, and we know what ebooks are, right? E-copies of books. People can pay you to write ebooks for them. People have paid me to write ebooks for them, right? Academic papers. In fact, I feel like academic papers and ghostwriting are the new gold mine, especially ghostwriting. I'll get to ghostwriting, but academic papers where you write for people. We used to do these things. I don't know if everyone here is a graduate, but whether you're a graduate or not, you will notice that people do these things in school where we'll tell you, bring your project, I'll write it for you. People used to do it very well in school. Then you collect money from them. Those are academic papers, but there's a higher level. So instead of writing undergraduate undergraduate project papers. You now take it a notch higher and write for maybe like master's students. You write for PhD students. Last 2 months, I wrote, in fact, that was where I made the most money from academic papers. I wrote a few dissertations for some PhD students in the US. They are very busy. They need people to write for them. So if you develop this skill, they will reach out to you. I wrote for three different people. One was a publication. No, two were publications. One was for someone who wants to apply for a US visa. When applying for a particular US visa, you have to have one published article. So I wrote those articles for them. You know that with people, you just have to position yourself in a way that will attract these people, right? Because you know our folks that I want to presume that everybody here, let me see the names. I don't know if everybody here is in Nigeria, but I can see that I think we are all Nigerians. So assuming that we are all Nigerians anyway, we know that our folks, when they travel out of the country, they are burdened with a lot of things. They have to get multiple jobs in order to sustain their income. They are in school. So it's difficult. I have a friend who just traveled to the UK and she's already calling me, telling me that the assignments that they gave them, she wants me to do it for them. She's already gathering all her classmates so that I can help them with the assignments. And they're going to pay me in pounds. They're going to pay me, right? So you can position yourself, learn this skill, and then earn money as a freelancer or you work for an agency. So ghostwriting is basically writing and allowing someone else to claim ownership of what you have written. For example, those academic papers now, I cannot go about telling people that, oh, I was the one that wrote this academic paper. No, that's why they pay heavily for it. It's like selling your company. Do you understand? It's like selling your company because you can't claim ownership. In fact, when I want to send my portfolio, I may not, for some people, they'll have you sign a non-disclosure form where you cannot even tell people, add it to your portfolio or tell people that you have written these things. That's what in fact, ghostwriting is the gold mine, because when I write something for you that is so good that you want to publish, the article I'm writing for a particular client now, he's going to publish it. It was even the publisher that reached out to me via email, I think about last week, to tell me what to do as regards the writing. So imagine that you're going to publish this particular work that is going to make you appear as an expert, but I'm the one writing it. I can charge you your life for it, not literally, but you understand what I mean. Right? If I tell you any amount, you almost want to pay because you know that you are going to claim ownership of this thing forever. And if I leave you, you don't have the time to sit and write it, or you don't even have the skill to sit and write. I have the time and I have the skill, right? So that is ghostwriting. Business writing. Business writing is basically writing for the sake of business, maybe business proposals, business reports, and things like that. Now, I forgot to mention the difference between a freelancer and one who is working for an agency. A freelancer is basically that you are not attached to any organization. They did not employ you. You are not their staff. When they need your service, they reach out to you. That is freelancing. Individuals too, they need your service, they reach out to you. And that's what I do for that's what the bulk of my own work entails. Freelancing. You need my service, you reach out to me. I'm not affiliated to any organization. They did not employ me. They don't wake up by 9 a.m. and be asking me why I did not resume work. No. Right? That is freelancing. Now, working for an agency is, let me describe using the agency that I worked for. So this particular agency I worked for was or is a social media agency. They help a couple of companies, organizations with social media marketing. So they positioned themselves as an agency. They formed a team. I think we're about 7 of us on the team. We had social media manager, content strategist, copywriter on the team. So what those people do is they will hire people who have these different skills. So if you're a copywriter and you're attaching yourself to an agency, one tip is that you need to be widely read and very knowledgeable. Because imagine an agency, for example, the agency I worked for, they were managing accounts for a custard company. That's, let me say, a breakfast company. They were managing for a company in corporate communications. So imagine you being their copywriter. It means you have to understand, you have to know how to write about custard, you have to know how to write about corporate communications. So you need to be widely read or widely knowledgeable. So that's the first tip or strategy: offer writing services. I am not seeing your comments in the chat box. I want to know if you understand or if this makes sense to you. I also want to know if you have any questions so far. Havila Media says, I understand. Do you have any questions so far? No questions yet. Clinton says it makes sense. Any questions yet? Any questions yet? Do I continue? No questions, no questions. Understood, ma'am. Okay, thank you. So the next is sell a digital product to help other people. Now I'll explain. Okay, I've already written it here. So you know how I mentioned that you pick a writing interest? Let me bust your bubble, or let me just blow your mind. There's this guy I follow on Instagram. Esther says everything is flowing well. Thank you. There's this guy I follow on Instagram. He writes about dogs. I like dogs a lot. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I like dogs so much. I'm always posting dog videos on my Instagram stories. This guy posts videos about dogs, and it's so beautiful to watch. I am always on his page. Guess what he did? He will post about different dog breeds. He will post on his Instagram feed about how to train these dogs. And then he now created a digital product on different digital products. He has one product on how to train a particular dog until they get to a particular age. Now, people who have these dogs, they will go and buy that product. A digital product is basically things like an ebook, a video course, even a YouTube video can pass as a digital product, right? For example, this webinar that I am organizing, or that I just organized, I'm having this recorded. I can package this into a course, and then it is going to become a digital product, giving other people access to a larger body of information outside the social media platform. So that's what he did with dogs. I know another person who does that for plants. There's this guy on Instagram. I don't know if he's still active. I've not been seeing his content. He's called the Plant Boy or Plant Boy, something like that. I don't know if you know him. He loves plants so much, and he, bought a lot of plants, and he's been posting about plants. The French gardener, somebody just mentioned the French gardener as well. These plants people, it's just about their love for plants. And you, with your love for those, yes, Esther says the plant boy. So I'm glad that people in the audience here know these people. And you know that people are buying these plants from them. The plant boy did not just become an expert. I'm sure he just discovered that, he started to have a love for plants, suddenly. And then he now monetized that. So what you can do is, let's say you have an interest about, what can I use as an example? Let me look around me. Teddy bears, yes, or televisions. Let's say you have an interest about televisions. You can now begin to write different things about televisions or different things about teddy bears. How a teddy bear helps awakens a person's mood when they are down. You can write about those things. How teddy bears serve as pillows. You can write about those things. And then people who can relate to your content, they begin to gather around your content. They begin to share your content. That's you building a readership, building a community of people that read about your stuff. And then after you have built that community of people on whatever social media platform, LinkedIn, Twitter, Medium, you can create videos and then have those write-ups in your captions. Then you create a digital product. When you create a digital product, and then people will buy from you. Now, on to the third. Work for a company as a copywriter. Work for a company as a copywriter. I don't know, a lot of people here know that I work for Vesti. I write for Vesti. Vesti is a fintech migration company. I write as their copywriter, and I've been their copywriter for about 3 years now. What did I do? Though I did not apply to Vesti, I got it via... Okay, I'm seeing a question. Please hold on. Let me check. So Havila Media says, is there a timeline for building a readership before one can create a digital product? Oh, as soon as you have been able to solve a particular problem for yourself, you can begin to work on a digital product for people who have experienced that problem. That is one yardstick to use to know when to create a digital product. So let me give you an example. I have hacked this whole thing about content ideas, content marketing, right? It took me about a year plus or 2 years to hack it. Now I have created a digital product for people who are unable to come up with content ideas. I have it. I can post a link to the platform I'll post it on WhatsApp. So I wrote content ideas for different niches, for photographers, for bakers, for online gift stores, skincare brands. That's because I have hacked it, right? So that is one way. Another way to know when it's time to put out your digital product is as soon as you begin to post. As soon as you begin to post, begin to work on your digital product. But make sure your digital product is something that the previous you will find helpful. Somebody who is 1-2 steps behind you, something that they will find helpful. Look at yourself, look at your previous self. What do you think you will find helpful? Or what do you think you were going to find helpful like a year, 2 years ago? And then create those things in the line of your interest, right, as a digital product. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Have I been able to answer your question? Okay, thank you. So I was talking about working for a company as a copywriter or a content writer. So what you need to do here is develop a writing skill in a particular field. So because you're going to be writing for one company, this one, you want them to employ you, right? You want them to employ you as their copywriter. So you will look at the, let's say you have been an accountant, for example. So you can now begin to develop skills on things that have to do with accounting or writing for accounting brands, right? Writing for accounting companies. You have the writing skill on accounting, a particular field. You cannot want to be applying for a job in an accounting firm and be carrying your writing skills about fashion there. It's going to be useless to them. Right? So you develop a writing skill in a particular field, and then you build a portfolio. One tip about how to build a portfolio, whether you have worked with clients in the past or not, is something like what we are doing with the everyday writing community. People are posting those things. They don't understand that they are building a portfolio for themselves. I have a folder. I tagged it the everyday writer, and I put all my write-ups there. Once somebody tells me, Susan, kindly send me what you have written in the past, I just send them a link. That is already a portfolio you are building for yourself. So if you have a particular interest, let's say your interest is in fashion, beauty, begin to write about different things about the beauty industry. Share your perspective about different things in the beauty industry. Package it, put it in a folder. That's how to build your portfolio. And then you go online and then you apply to jobs. You go on LinkedIn, you apply to jobs. You go on Twitter and then you apply to jobs. So those are my top 3 strategies for making money from writing. But I'm going to add a final one as a bonus. And that is entering writing competitions. This one is not something that happened, excuse me. This is not something that you may live on, but it works. If you go on platforms like opportunitydex.org, they post writing competitions seasonally or periodically. In fact, they post a lot of writing competitions. And for some of those writing competitions, you can earn as much as $5,000 if you win. right? You can try. The person who you are thinking is going to win is a human being like you. They don't have two heads. You can try. So you can enroll for those writing competitions and win. Another way is to teach other people to write in a coaching program. This is a sample. This is exactly what I'm going to be doing in my mentorship program, the Personal Brand Accelerator. I'm going to be teaching how you can learn the fundamentals of copywriting, learn the fundamentals of content writing, sharing my top writing tools with you, my writing strategies, in the Personal Brand Accelerator program. We are going to be applying for jobs. It is going to happen from January 12th to April 12th. That's when I'm going to be taking in the second cohort, and it is 30,000 naira for those 3 months. However, for you in this webinar now, you can pay 24,000 naira now. This 24,000 naira window is going to last for only 24 hours. After 24 hours, it is going back to the 30,000 naira. So if you know you want to learn writing skills, if you know you want to learn how to put yourself on social media, how to learn how to come up with content ideas, how to never run out of content ideas, how to position yourself as a brand, position yourself as a person of value on social media, you should enroll for the Personal Brand Accelerator program. There's no way you're going to get it for 30,000 naira. And I'm not even saying that because I just want you to enroll. You can go and check and come back. But if you come back after 24 hours, you will not pay 24,000 naira. You can go and check a lot of people and see how much they are charging for teaching you how to build yourself as a brand on social media. So registration for this is going to close on the 30th of this month, and I'm taking only 20 people for this cohort. So do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Let me know in the chat box if you have gotten value for this quick 1 hour. Can you use only one platform for writing? I'm not sure I understand the question, but yes, you can choose to use only one social media platform. As a matter of fact, I think that will help you to achieve better results, because you will be able to. Oh no, you don't have to be on multiple social media platforms. Yes, especially when you are starting out. I would advise you just pick 2 platforms. Pick one long form, one short form. LinkedIn, Twitter, or email newsletter, Twitter. Right? Pick 2 platforms, because if you take on so many platforms, you may not be able to stay consistent. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work, a lot of energy to churn out content. So I advise sticking with minimum number of platforms. I deeply appreciate Suzanne. I lost an opportunity because I didn't have a writing portfolio, and you just repeated that. Oh my, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so now this is your cue to go and begin to develop your writing portfolio. I don't know if you've started already. Yes, a lot of people want to see if you are the best fit for, what they want you to do. And a writing portfolio does not have to be something gigantic. Just put a few of your writing, what you've written in the past. Be intentional about those things that you have written anyway, whether you did it for a client or not. Send it to them, and you'll get the job. A lot of companies are going to ask you for a portfolio. Esther says, I got so much value. Thank you so much for dishing out value for free. You're welcome. And says, thank you for this education and for your time. You're welcome. So like I mentioned earlier, the 24,000 naira window is only open for 24 hours. 24 hours. You can send a message on the writing community, or you send me a private message, and I will secure a spot for you. Aside the familiar social media platform, what other platform can you ghostwrite? In order to ghostwrite, you can use Upwork. Upwork is a platform where you can get ghostwriting jobs. Upwork, Fiverr. There is remote.com. There is Himalayas. You can get ghostwriting jobs there. Yes, that is aside positioning yourself on social media as a ghostwriter. Have I been able to answer that question? Can one advertise himself as a ghostwriter on social media? Absolutely. I follow a particular lady who advertises herself as a ghostwriter. So she talks about her day-to-day experiences with clients. She talks about different things, subjects she's writing about. I'll give you an example. Yesterday on my Instagram story, I wrote about how tasking it is to write the articles that I'm writing, that I was currently writing. Because when I say I'm writing articles, a lot of people just used to think, it's not article, maybe 2 pages. I was writing a 38-page article. I had written it up to 25 pages and I had submitted to the client. I felt like we were done. He had paid. All of a sudden, he reached out to me. The publisher reached out to me and said I needed to beef it up to 38 pages. And my brain was draining because I used Google Doc, font 12, 1.5 line spacing, and Nonito font to write that, So it was a bit big. But when he was sending it to the publisher, he used Microsoft Word, 1.15 line spacing, and font 11 of Calibri. So it was so tiny and there was no space. So he needed me to beef that up using that particular tiny font. It was a lot of work. And it is not just putting any words, it has to make sense to the reader. It has to communicate the idea. This article had to, there were a lot of data in the article, a lot of analysis, comparing different thoughts and perspective and drawing a conclusion. So it was a lot of work, right? So yes, you can advertise yourself as a ghostwriter. As I was saying, I posted that on my story, telling people about how draining it was. That's me educating people on that writing task that I had taken on. So you can do things like that. As you go on, if you research about being a ghostwriter, there are a lot of perspectives you are going to see. Write about those, talk about those, share your own perspective about those things on social media, and let people know you're a ghostwriter. I don't know how many of us knows this guy, Solomon Buchi. He's popular on social media. Solomon Buchi is a ghostwriter. That's what he does. If you check his bio, you will see it there. He wrote it there that he's a ghostwriter. Okay, so do we have any other questions? Any other questions? Such thought is a minister. Minister of what? Minister of the gospel. I guess he is the minister of the gospel too, anyway. Do we have any other questions? Okay, if we have, Grace is well done. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time. If we don't have any other questions, then we would have to call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope to see you at the top doing beautiful things. Thank you and bye. Mohammed says thank you. God bless you.